Jet 6, speak, yes, please.
Oh, shipmates! Still can't quite get that voice performing as expected. Needs a little bit of attention. Getting better though. I just can't quite seem to shift the last little bit of the whatever it is. Anyway, it's very unusual. It's Tuesday today. We've got 2 departures on a Tuesday. I know this is a little unusual. But I had some opportunity. And the 2 ships are quite close together. And it's turning into a rather busy season. I was looking slightly forward through it. I don't tend to look too far through the shipping movements list because I don't want to get too excited. I did notice this weekend we have a 4-ship Saturday with Iona, Celebrity Apex, Ventura and MSC Virtuosa. Then the Sunday, it's a 3-ship Sunday with Avia, Queen Anne and Norwegian Prima. Then on Monday, it's a 5-ship Monday with Queen Mary 2, Mine She 3, Arcadia, Independence of the Seas, which I know bit of a channel favourite, that one, and Costa Diadema, which I don't think we've ever seen. I did notice that the Daily Echo reported that it's the first time she's been in port. The Daily Echo could be right. They're not known for their quality of journalism. But I don't remember ever seeing a Costa Diadema. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a Costa ship full stop. I was trying to work out how to actually find out what ships have been in port. I don't know. There must be some website somewhere that lists where all the ships have been. If any shipmate in the chat knows, let me know. I'm a mystery. I tend to rely on the old grey cells, but obviously if the ship's quite old, there's a good chance it's been in and I haven't noticed. Right, so the first away this evening. 2 departures this evening. We have the Aurora. Oh, that should say 4:30, not 4 o'clock. Oops, slight mistake there. Oops, daisy. And the Balmoral at 5 o'clock. Aurora has radioed in. She says she's good to go, and I know got a couple of shipmates on board, and they said the lines are singling up. She's currently still there. She's at the far end of the port, pointing the right direction. So we should see her at some point coming on to cruise cam. Box cam. A bit of sun affecting the vision on box cam at the moment. I know I shouldn't complain about the sun, but it does cause the optics on the camera a bit of a headache sometimes. Looks like a lovely day down there in Mayflower Park. What's the weather like? Should check the weather, I suppose. And it's a northeasterly wind. Let's check the outside microphone. Okay, I'm ready to rock with that, just in case she gets a bit honky with us. It's a little bit breezy out there, and it's only 13.9 C. I was up fairly early this morning, out and about, and it was frankly quite nippy. Visibility is pretty good, 34.2 nautical miles, 53% humidity. Yes, it has been a little bit blowy today, a little bit blowy and cold from the, I was going to say from the northeast, but it's suddenly swung around from the southeast, the wind direction now. I'll pay no attention to that. I'm sure it's roughly right. I see plenty of shipmates in the chat. Hoy there, Gwyn Jones, and I know she's actually on board Aurora. Hoy there, Neil Mundy. Hoy there, Harbour Tea Rooms, and hoy there, Elizabeth G. Hoy there, Hades. Shipmate Gwyn Jones on board. She's heading for the Baltics. That's right. I'll run through the list of where the ports of where the Aurora's cruising at. Surely it's a pretty good itinerary, I think. Right, let's have a look. And ahoy there, Shipmate Shepherd Book. Many thanks for your kind contribution the other day. I treated myself to a pint of stovepipe from Dancing Man, and it was rather delightful. Although it was a bit nippy outside. We waited outside for a couple of bites, and then we buggered off because it was, it was a bit cool compared to the previous days. Right, what was I looking at? Oh yes, the itinerary for Aurora. So she's departing from Southampton, and it's called a 16-day round trip Northern European and Scandinavia. Calling in at Skagen in Denmark, then Copenhagen in Denmark, and then Gdansk in Poland, and then Klaipeda in Lithuania, then Visby on Gotland Island, Sweden, then Helsinki in Finland, and then Rostock in Germany. I don't think I've seen any ships go to Rostock in before, and then Bruges in Belgium, then back home to the port of Southampton. Pretty decent. That's some really interesting ports there. Gdansk, Lithuania, Klaipeda. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Yeah, that's a really interesting itinerary. Hopefully, it's not going to be too cold. The weather is looking to improve. A view from Netley there, a couple of tugs at the end. One of the Red Funnel ferries had a couple of breakdowns at the weekend with the Red Funnel, so they were just down to one ferry. Made for interesting viewing on Ferry Camp, that one. That is looking pretty sunny that way, then. That's looking over the port. And if you look on Cruise Camp, the water there is looking really sort of Mediterranean, isn't it? Got that real sort of turquoise hue to it. It certainly does when the sun shines and sort of that direction. Well, the shipmate Chris says, that fight on Virtuosa was shocking. Yes, the MSC Virtuosa that left on Saturday came back in on Monday with a couple of people on board having a bit of a ruckus, and causing all sorts of problems. Apparently, one person died. I guess the other one went into the brig. Apparently they knew who it was. Reading a couple of reports about that MSC cruise, because it was only a two-nighter to, I think it was to Bruges. I may be wrong. But it was only a two-nighter, and a lot of people on board weren't very happy. There's an awful lot of stag do's, hen parties, lot of parties going on. Real sort of party cruise. Probably not what you want. Oh, there's shipmate Sam the Streamer. Says we are underway. See, there's another couple of shipmates on board. Oh, yeah, shipmate Robert Free said he saw one on the internet.
Balmoral, good afternoon.
Balmoral's on the radio.
Balmoral, busiest, good afternoon.
Yeah, we're on 101 now, looking good for 1700. Out for Bilbao, maximum draft 7.1. Got the passenger figures if you're ready.
Yes, I'm ready.
Busiest, send the figures.
Yeah, 1116 passengers, crew 562, total 1678.
BTS, that's all understood. Traffic information, Aurora underway from 105 outbound.
Lovely, thank you. Follow right then, thank you.
Yep, Balmoral's definitely moved. Aurora's definitely moved. Balmoral's going to follow. So she's going to have to reverse down to the
engineer, BTS.
middle swing ground, spinning around there. So we'll get to see it. Oh, it looks a bit smoky down there. Where's that coming from then?
BTS, you're loud and clear to me.
Yep, so we have had numbers for Aurora. Let's go back to my little list. I did write it down somewhere. Aurora is the oldest ship in the P&O fleet, built in the year 2000, 25 years old. She has maximum passenger capacity of 2,258, and let's have a look how many were on board. There are 1,786 on board, so that's 1,874 is the maximum double occupancy. So she's a little bit lighter than that, but pretty full ship. And maximum crew is 860, and she's travelling with a crew of 803. So yeah, pretty much full, and pretty much full complement crew. Something is quite smoky down there, isn't it? Look at all that smoke. I wonder if that's from Balmoral or the other one. Aurora. Aurora built at a cost of $375 million US. 200 centimetres long, 34 metres wide. Top speed of 24 knots, 44 kilometres an hour for all you continental types, or 28 miles per hour in the King's units. There we go. I think I'll just start to see a ship come onto our screens. Shipmate Artemis says it sounded hideous, full of stag and hen do's. Yes, I read a couple of reports from people who hadn't been on a cruise before, and this was their first cruise. And when they got back to port, they were asking people who had been on cruises, "Is this normal?" And no, generally it wasn't very normal, and they were quite surprised. Oh, the shipmate Shepherd Book said a fight on MSC. I thought fights happened on the Carnival ships at Galveston. It wasn't just a fight, shipmate. It was actually a murder. Someone was stabbed in the heads. One is very smoky over there, aren't they? Now, who's smoky? Who's a bit smoky? Is it Aurora? Or is it that the Balmoral pouring up? I mean, the Balmoral's not a lot newer, is she? Balmoral is, in fact, even older. Balmoral's 37 years old. Here. Well, the shipmate Paul Stanley says, does anyone know what the lorry in Mayflower Park is selling? Well, there's an ice cream van in Mayflower Park, or there are lots of trucks and lorries down there at the moment because the Circus Berlin is in port, and you can go and watch it perform. Oh yeah, shipmate Hazy's already there. She thinks the smoke might be from the circus. Yes, ice cream van is back. Shipmate Roger Linnell, yeah. He's doing a roaring trade. Did a roaring trade the other week. Shipmate Williams says, is Aurora adults only? I believe Aurora is. And shipmate Elizabeth Braun said, yes. Yeah, there you go. I thought so. I could never remember with P&O. I can't remember if they've just got one or two adult-only ships. Slightly, just for some reason I failed to seem to remember, but I seem to remember Aurora being the oldest one is adult-only. Well, actually, I noticed that Aurora is actually quite a firm favourite of quite a few of the shipmates. Shipmate Elizabeth Braun says, yes, happy Silver Jubilee for Aurora. She says, it's adult only, has been for years. Yes, quite a few of our shipmates, it's one of their favourite ships. They really, even though it's one of the smallest ships, if not the smallest ship in the P&O fleet, they do enjoy the cosy nature, the friendly staff on board, and a lot of non-children on board. Trying to work out how to word that properly. So, I've got to say, it's quite an interesting itinerary for Aurora. She does quite a lot of interesting itineraries, Aurora. I think it's one advantage of these smaller ships. It does allow them to get into some ports that the bigger ships can't get into. She's off on a 16-day round trip, Northern Europe and Scandinavia, calling it Skagen in Denmark. That's right at the top of Denmark. And then Copenhagen in Denmark, which is basically almost next to Sweden. So it's almost Sweden, I suppose you could say. Not quite Sweden.
A jet, so shortly away from.
Then hops around a bit to Gdansk.
6 VTS, that's all copy. Traffic information. Aurora, passing 102 Girth, outbound. Red Falcon, approaching the Cal Shot light, float inbound.
Copy.
And just heads up a little bit, pops into Gdansk in Poland. Then up the coast a little bit more to Klaipėda in Lithuania. And then across to Visby in Gotland Island, part of the Swedish, part of Sweden, I suppose I should say. Part of the Swedish Empire, I think I was going for. Then across to Helsinki in Finland. And then all the way back to Rostock in Germany. And then one last call in Bruges in Belgium. Yes, the ice cream man at the bottom of our screen, Mr. Scooby, Mr. Whippy, he was very busy. Oh, Gwyn Jones says we're on the top deck under the ship's name with a small flag. Oh, excellent. I shall zoom in a second once you're getting closer. That's an easy spot for me, that one is. Yeah, the ice cream man was very busy last week. There was a massive queue outside. Yeah, we've got some busy days coming up. Back to 2 ferries running. After the weekend, there was only 1 ferry running for a bit. It was causing quite a few jams. Shipmate Gwyn Jones is up towards the top of the ship with a small flag, so I'm not sure I'll be able to identify the flag. I've had quite a good number of flags lately. Had our first flag from Cumberland the other day. Couldn't identify that one. I must confess I've not done my flag revision for a while.
BTS Balmoral, we're just going to stations now from 101.
Oh, excellent. Balmoral's on the move as well. Oh, they're all very,
BTS understood.
all very prompt today. That's jolly decent of them. Look very busy. We have had the numbers, so she's almost capacity. And it's probably a bit early for people to be down the buffet. Excellent. Good bit of honk.
Yes. Aurora, clear ahead now. Outbound. Main channel to the east.
Aurora BTS, that's all understood. Red Falcon approaching Castle Point.
Thank you.
Excellent. Good bit of honking there from Aurora. Very disappointing at the weekend. We had 5 cruise ships depart at the weekend, and we had very little honking indeed. Very disappointing. I suppose we were rather treated to an excellent rendition previously with the 2 Cunard ships passing each other. That sounded something like the 4th of July out there. Or close encounters. Right, let's see if we can find shipmate Glyn. She's up. She has a very small flag. So I'm a little bit tricky here. Cause I'm... Oh, there we go. I see someone with a flag. Oh, I think I can see you, shipmate. Well, I'm going to struggle to decode the flag. Unless you're sending a flag signal message. Unless you're just waving your towel, of course. Difficult to know which one that is. It's quite a good sized flag, although it's very difficult for me to see. It's the problem this time of day. Oh, there's more shipmates there with flags. Again, maybe that's a shipmate, didn't I? She was up right by the sign. Gosh, there's a couple of quite a few shipmates on board. I'll use the other camera because I think I'm struggling because this camera is looking right into the sun and the ship at the same time. So I shall have to zoom around when you've come past Town Quay. Quick look to make sure Balmoral's not on the move. Is she on the move just yet? No, not yet. Right, let's get the other camera ready. I'm having difficulties with some of my cameras. I'm having a lot of difficulties with a lot of the cameras at the moment. And it's like a technological conspiracy, I think. Right, I've got the super duper camera all poised, ready to go. I'll have a quick look over here as well. Might be better. Yeah, it's gone cloudy. Aha, you might be in the spot of luck. The sun's gone in. I know it's not what you want, but it certainly allows me to get a better image. Where are they then? Up on the top here somewhere, aren't they, I think? There was one person there, and then I think shipmate Glyn was right over by the side. There we go. Oh, it's a great place if you stand near the side because it's very easy for me to find. think your flags are too small for me to identify, but I'm going to go with a Union Jack. That's my guess, yes. Do you know what? I think I can work out it's a Union Jack. Yeah, that or it's a Thai flag. Got to go with the Union Jack. Got a couple of golf nets on the top there. Well, there we go. They're off on a 12-day Scandinavian. No, so 12-day Scandinavian and the Fields, they're calling that. Aurora, got a fairly distinctive stern on Aurora. More like, sort of, reminds me of that bit of the QE2. Instead of some of the other ships that's just tries to get as many passengers on board, she does actually have a shaped stern. There was some honking there from Balmoral. I could just about hear it.
Falcon VTS, that's all copied. Traffic information. Red Eagle, letter number 1 outbound. Red Jet 6, Western Shelf outbound. Aurora, passing Town Quay outbound. And Balmoral, just departing 101 outbound.
I could just about hear the honking through my headphones. I don't know if you managed to hear that. No, that's not what you want. That's not weather. Hang on. Weather. There we go. Balmoral's facing the wrong direction and the wind is equally in the wrong direction. So, yeah, that's why we're not going to hear a great deal of the honkage from Balmoral. No, we should get something from... Well, we did get something from P&O. From the P&O Aurora.
BTS, Balmoral, we're on the move now.
BTS, traffic information. Red Falcon at Hook inbound, followed by Red Jet 7.
Roger that.
Oh, yep. Balmoral is reversing towards us, towards the middle swing ground. We'll get to see a nice picture of her spinning around. There you go. She's just coming in from the right-hand side of our screen. Yeah, it's always a problem with the sun, when it's a sunny day, trying to see who's on the ship. There's that shipmate Glyn there, up by the sign. There's someone else there with a camera, taking some pictures. I think it might be Balmoral that's a bit smoky. Definitely see some smoke coming out the chimney there. Get a view of the stern here of Aurora. There we go. Well, they were Shipmate Book. Oh, Ship Book did hear some horns. Yeah, I really struggle with. My microphone points more towards Ocean Terminal.
BTS for Freedom, good afternoon.
All Freedom, VTS, good afternoon.
BTS for Freedom, just wait for the...
Sorry, say that again, please, sir.
Yeah, just away from the Empress, 2 on board, over 4 cows.
All Freedom, VTS, receive Aurora, Gimp, outbound main channel.
Yeah, all copy, thank you.
There's a view on cruise cam. There's the red funnel ferry that's broken. I'm not sure when that's going to be fixed. Oh, sorry, you can't see it, can you? I'm on the other camera. There we go. You seem to be suffering with a whole series of breakdowns. Passengers are particularly getting annoyed with red funnel because the breakdowns seem to be occurring just after she's had a refit and been down for a yearly inspection. So I think people are expecting a better performance. There we go. There's the broken Red Fuddle ferry there. You can see the Balmoral approaching dockhead. Is how's Itching Cam doing? Is Itching Cam working? Oh yeah. Having some problems with the internet down in Itching. It's giving me some very slow. Oh, Balmoral's doing an anti-clockwise spin, counter-clockwise spin, depending on your linguistical preferences, but very close to shore there. Get a fantastic view from the corner of Mayflower Park. Balmoral departs with 1,116 passengers on board and 562 crew. Now you're asking yourself how many people can fit on Balmoral. Well, she's got maximum occupancy of 1,420 or 1,350 double occupancy, so she's reasonably full, and normally has a complement of 510 crews. So she's actually overcrewed and understaffed, so that's exactly what you want on board. Should keep things all shipshape. Looks like the sun's just coming out again. Perfect evening for a sail away, if perhaps a tad on the chippy side. Some lovely views of Balmoral here. I always think of Balmorals as being sort of like mini Cunard ships. Balmoral is 37 years old, built in 1988. Now, having been on a few Balmoral ships, I would say they're not as contemporary as some of the new vessels we see here in port, which I suppose is to be expected with a vessel of that sort of age. But I would say I've had some of the best food I think I've had compared to the sort of mainstream lines, your P&Os, your MSCs, and all those various princesses and so on. I would say the food is definitely better on the Fered Olson lines. Very, very good indeed. And the crew always seem to be really friendly on the ball with all your needs. It's just that the ship's a little bit dated. You might not find it reminds me somewhat of like a cross-channel ferry. It's not quite so glamorous. It's a little bit more clunky. It doesn't have lots of fancy automatic opening doors and all that sort of thing. But that's not to detract from the quality of service on board. Equally, because it is a very small ship, by comparison, it can get into some really small ports. And let's have a look. Once I've moved this over here, we'll have a look and see where she's off to. Right, you stay there, camera. Right, Balmoral, Fered Olson Balmoral. She's off on a 10-day round trip, France, Spain, with the River Seine. Oh, interesting cruise. So she departs the port of Southampton, then she's down to Bilbao in Spain. She's there, in fact, she's there for 2 days.
Ready, you'll be just thank God.
Then after that, she calls it Bordeaux in France, and then heads up to Rouen in France, and then Honfleur in France. And then arriving back in the port of Southampton. Hopefully the weather will be better. It looks like the forecast is it's going to be good next week. Certainly sunny. Hopefully get plenty of good sun.
Yes, Aurora, Western Shelf now, outbound, main channel to the east.
Aurora, VTS, good afternoon. Receive, thank you, sir.
Okay, you can see how small the Balmoral is because she's barely sticking above.
Togs for the Wen Jing Ku, channel 74, please.
She's barely sticking above the restaurant there.
Wen Jing Ku, VTS.
Yeah, VTS.
Good afternoon to you. Your tug still attached with the San Lorenzo Maritz up at SCT. I'll be the fire gate at Mercurius.
VTS, Wen Jinku. Could you repeat, missed that?
So your tugs are still working with the San Lorenzo Mask up SCT, and will be the Bargate and Mercurius still attached to the inbound San Lorenzo Mass.
Okay, thank you.
Shipmate Bassman Bowman says Hornfleur is lovely. Yes, it's just up the Seine, isn't it? So yeah, that would be quite interesting. Gets you, well, the ancient mouth of the Seine, I should say, really. But yeah, she's actually going to go up the Seine to Rouen. So that's quite impressive. That's I wouldn't have thought she'd gone that far away. But like I say, that's the beauty of the slightly smaller ships. It'll be quite a long way inland, fairly on her way to Paris. Very impressive. Just looking particularly pretty over on cruise cam, I have to say. Those colours there, it's the angle of the camera and the sunlight. It really just pick up the sort of turquoise of the water. Unfortunately, on box cam here, we just tend to be getting a reflection off the top. Well, the shipmate Johnny B says the restaurant looks like the Royal Brighton Pavilion. It does indeed. I think it's probably built around about the same sort of time. Well, the shipmate David says, ahoy there, Captain, been watching for a long time, and he recently opted to create a Google account to chat with everyone. Off to the Dancing Man after this. It's like you all know my regular routine. No, unfortunately, no. I'm not off to the Dancing Man this evening. I would be tempted, but it's a little nippy to sit outside. Oh, looks like Balmoral's finished the spin. I do try and patronise local businesses. The Balmoral, the Dancing Man brews their own beer. To support the local businesses. Shipmate Bassman Bowman says, gorgeous beach. He's talking about Hornfleur, but some huge fishing ships go past. Oh, I like a huge fishing ship. Yeah, so anyway, thank you, shipmate David, for actually creating a Google account. It's very good of you. I know it's a bit of a pain sometimes, but thank you for subscribing, because that'll make the channel more popular. It's surprising the number of people that say to me they didn't know the channel existed, and they found it, and they're really pleased.
Safe to do so.
Let's have a look. I'll probably work out when I'm live next. When am I going to be live next? What's the date? It's today. Let's have a look. Gosh, we've got 3 on Friday as well. Maybe Friday. I'm not sure. Might be out Friday. Difficult to know, Friday. Yeah. Depends if I get back in time. But Friday is 3 cruise ships. Saturday is 4 cruise ships. Sunday is 3 cruise ships. And then Monday is 5 cruise ships. So over the course of the weekend, that's, if my math serves me correctly, quite a lot of cruise ships. I think it's Balmoral that's a bit smoky. What do you think? The Red Jet shooting in. They seem to be working. I think it was shipmate Hades on this comment earlier said that he thinks the Red Funnel ferry is going to be out of action until the end of May. Well, that's going to make things a little bit tricky, especially if they have another one breakdown, like we did at the weekend. Causes all sorts of traffic chaos. Yeah, it's quite tricky to get a decent picture from. I need a camera on the other side of the water as well. I need. Try and sort that out. So the Balmoral, she is only 218 metres long. The Red Jet's now whizzing in. That's Hythe Marina, you can see in the background. It's 218 metres long, whereas the Aurora, which is the smallest in the P&O fleet, is 270 metres long. There's quite a difference there even.
Balmoral, Fered out.
Balmoral, VTS, good afternoon. Received steady traffic.
Thank you, Ray. Good afternoon.
Yep, there she is, all ready to go. Heading off on her quite interesting. She's actually going some way into France. Let me show you. Let me show you what I'm talking about. 'Cause I'm talking about things like, I don't know why I just don't show you. It would make more sense, wouldn't it? So, here we go. Let's see if I can bring this up. I'll show you once she's going behind Town Quay Pier, because it's so small, won't be able to see her behind Town Quay Pier. Well, the shipmate Richard Baldwin says, ahoy, Captain, from a sunny North Devon. Oh, shipmate Hades. Oh, well, shipmate Hades says the Osprey is hoping to get back in business at the end of May. They are waiting on engine components to be made and delivered. Oh, gosh, that's a pretty severe problem, isn't it? But I'm guessing it's not exactly... You can't pop down to Holford's and pick up a new something or other for your Red Funnel ferry. Can't see too many people on the balconies all waving. What's going on here? Shipmate Mrs. A.O. says, oh, yeah, they're on the winter timetable. Yes, that's right. The Red Funnel's on a winter timetable. They should be on the summer timetable by now, which is all 3 ferries in operation. But because they've only got 2 ferries in operation, they reverted to the winter timetable. Shipmate P. Clem 1 says, do the red jets and red funnels get fined for speeding? No, they don't. The red jet has to radio in. They have to radio in and ask if they can continue at speed, because they go quite fast past the dockhead. And likewise, the red funnels, to be honest, barely break the speed limit. But yes, they also request that they can travel at speed. Shipmate Paul. Oh, he says, don't forget your banner. Oh, that's right, I forgot my banner. Also, I've forgotten your adverts. If I could do that while I'm struggling here a second. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Right, let's get some, because Paul helpfully sent over some pricing, and they were quite interesting. You would thought I would know what I'm doing with this by now, wouldn't you?
Archer's VGS, Falcons.
Finish on the and the Penzo, way round for the Wenjing.
Yes, please, thank you.
Right, we're using Balmoral behind Town Quay, so let me talk about where she's going. So she is going to Hornfleur, which is here, but also she's going to Rouen, so she has to go all the way up the Seine here. Wiggle, 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 all the way up to Rouen. I don't think any of the other ships that we have had in port would be able to manage that due to their size. Balmoral considerably smaller than your average cruise ship. Saving some adverts here. If you're interested in some pricing on Balmoral, let's bring them up in a second.
Yes, Red Falcon, also Snelly, and permission to carry on, please.
There we go.
Station to VTS.
Let's see if I can...
Red Falcon, VTS, apologies, sir. Clear to proceed if it is safe to do so. Balmoral there, south of Town Quay, outbound, cautious approach.
Thank you.
Here we go. I'll give you some sample pricing here on Balmoral. All from Love Cruise has helpfully sent some over. But this is a 8-night cruise in a couple of weeks' time. From Southampton, this is the scenic waterways and cities of Scandinavia. Calling it Oslo in Norway, Olseford, Gothenburg, Copenhagen, Kiel Canal Transit. Ooh, that's quite exciting. You could do that on many ships. And then that's calling back into the port of Southampton. Starting from 999. I think this is busiest.
VTS, Red Kestrel, shorted Balmoral Bay.
Red Kestrel, VTS, outbound traffic, Balmoral, just past your station.
And here's another one.
Well, copy, thank you.
Here's another one on, in fact, going to Rouen, so this is very similar to this one. 6 nights from 649, calling it Rouen in France. Overnight in Rouen as well, fantastic. And then an overnight in Antwerp. And back to Port Southampton. A couple overnights. That's pretty good going, that, isn't it? And I don't have the other buttons for the rest. I know that Paul did also have some example prices. He's also got they've got a round the world cruise. I can't, I'm sure I can't get that back up at the moment. Round the world cruise on Fered Olson. It's 99 days, I think it is, and that is starting. I think Paul said about £15,000. We were talking about earlier. Looks quite interesting to me. I'd be tempted with a 99-day cruise, although I'm not sure I could do a vlog every day. Might wear me out too much, but we'll see. We'll see if I win the lottery. Oh, well, it reminds me, I've got to buy a ticket this evening. The prices on Aurora. This is a 30 nights. Colours of Canada and New England. Calling at St. John's in Newfoundland. Ile de Madeleine. Then Halifax, Nova Scotia. Portland in Maine. Boston in Massachusetts. New York for 3 days. Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. 3 days in New York. You'll really get to see a lot if you've never been to New York before. Then Rockland. St. John's in New Brunswick, Sydney in Nova Scotia, and then 5 days back at sea, starting from 3149 for an inside cabin. That's on Aurora. Perhaps that's a little too long. Perhaps you'd prefer a slightly shorter cruise. You could do a Christmas Scandinavia escape on Aurora from 1199, and that's 10 nights at sea over Christmas. Oh, what a great way to get away from all those Boxing Day adverts. Don't know why people want to buy sofas on Boxing Day, but apparently they do. It's a day at sea, Copenhagen overnight, Oslo overnight, then Christmas Day at sea, then Rotterdam overnight, and then a day at sea, and then back to Southampton. So quite a few overnights at sea. That's brilliant. I think that's a great idea. I do like the overnights in port. I do find it slightly irritating when the ship leaves and it's sort of I'm going to be back on board at 4 o'clock and I barely feel I've scratched the city and you haven't seen any nightlife. Here's one on Aurora. 14 nights, Mediterranean fly cruise. I'm not really into my fly cruises, but I know some of you shipmates like the nicer weather. Calling in at Valletta in Malta, then Mykonos, Athens.
Yes, Irish divers.
Surda Bay in Chennai.
Irish divers, VTS.
Hello again, sir. Permission to put the diver back in the water, berth 25 for the last lift.
Irish divers, VTS, yes, you are cleared to proceed.
Thank you, sir.
Catacolon, Olympia, Dead Sea.
Security, all stations. This is Southampton VTS. Divers entering the water at 25 berth. Again, divers entering the water at 25 berth. Southampton VTS out.
It's it was announced every time divers coming out of the water, so all of the ships in the area can know and they can slow down and not go so fast. The red funnel code post. Well, the shipmate David. Shipmate David's become a member. Welcome aboard, shipmate. Many thanks for becoming a member. get yourself down to the galley, grab yourself a mug of grog, and enjoy some of those member benefits. Come and join our Discord server. Quite a little busy day here in the port of Southampton. We've got some new summer collection on sale. Sardinia, Albania, and Harstad, Norway, Albania. The Croatian coast is really nice. I guess the Albanian coast is quite nice as well. And also, in case you're interested, we still have some spaces left on our inaugural group cruise. I'll be taking part on Sky Princess in October, 14th of October, for 5 nights. That's a night import. Looking forward to that. And I know there's something else I haven't done. I've just realised. In case you're wondering, shipmates, I am the captain of the Solent Ships YouTube channel, broadcasting to you live and direct here for the Port of Southampton, and a mere hour and 17 minutes into the broadcast, and I remembered my banner. I think that's going to make my average quite appallingly low, isn't it? What a lovely sunny day, though. I think you'll be enjoying this sail away. If not, it's a little bit nippy out there, but generally, I think weather's pretty decent.
BTS, San Lorenzo merged, Doveside 2 SCT1 to swing line.
San Lorenzo merged, afternoon, receiver, thank you.
BTS, Bargain, nice on the San Lorenzo.
I'd just like to thank all my shipmates. I'll continue following Balmoral as she heads down Southampton water. Just like to thank all of my PayPal donors, Patreons, members of the channel, And, of course, most of all, the Blue Spanner crew for looking after all the chats and all the channels. And we'll be back Friday, I would say. Possibly another one in between. Who knows? But certainly Saturday, because it's a busy Saturday, a busy Sunday, and a very busy Monday. I might even do a live stream of the ships coming in. Because it depends on the seas coming in. There's 5 ships arriving on Monday. So maybe I'll do that. We'll see how it goes. Right, until next time, shipmates.
Red 6 VTS, wide berth is currently in force for you, passing SO number 2 predictably whilst alongside. Outbound traffic, the Aurora is approaching the Hook Clear Tunnel. The Balmoral is approaching. BTS received no reported inbound large movement from the NAB next planned boarding. The tanker setting its in at 1945 west of it.
BTS, RS divers.
Divers, VTS.
Hello again, sir. That's a diver clear of the water. All diving operations has ceased.
Divers, VTS received. Thank you for the call. Security, security, security. All stations, all stations, all stations. This is Southampton VTS. Divers clear from water at berth 25. Say again, divers clear from water at berth 25. Southampton VTS out.
VTS, Wen Jing Ku.
Wen Jingku, VTS, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, afternoon. Starboard side 102 with a deepest draft of 9.8. 25 plus 1 on board. Vessel's off to Zerouge.
Wen Jingku, VTS, that's all received, sir. Carry traffic, Zen, and yes, you are cleared to proceed.
Yeah, we're just a few minutes delayed here, waiting for towage, so we'll get underway shortly.
That's copy, sir.